This clip of Pitbull talking about communism has been going viral. Take a look.
So when it comes to this technology, exactly what it is. You got instant gratification thing. You can touch as many people with it as quick as they want to go. Whoop, they can pull it from you. And right now we're talking about, are we talking about a virus? A virus, that's what we talk about. SARS, MERS, bird, swine, Ebola, now Corona. Like, come on, folks. I mean, you gotta read the tea leaves, bro. The devil's in the details. And with that said is, if you look at the recovery numbers on what we're talking about, I don't know what it is, but I guess the flu went on vacation on this year. Heart attacks went on vacation this year. Everything went on vacation this year when it came to, I'm talking about, what we're going through right now.
Okay.
And let's just call a spade a spade. And the reason I can have this conversation is because my family comes from communism. They fled communism. They had everything taken away from them. Everybody got murdered. Everybody got killed. And
this clip just started going viral, but it's actually from Revolt TV's Drink Champs, which premiered on YouTube September 26, 2020. But shout out YoGMD on Instagram for sending me this clip and bringing it to my attention. I had no idea Pitbull was this awake, but I understand why to communism. His family, like millions of families, escaped the evils and the control scheme of communism, so he's trying to warn America about it.
that's the reason me, being a first-generation Cuban-American, or maybe us, being first-generation Cuban-Americans, I look at freedom and I appreciate that shit. I appreciate opportunity. I appreciate anything that you give me. All I need is a little slip, partner, and I got you. And that comes from the fact that when a Castro took over everything, and I'm looking at what's going on right now, the only person here that's hot, 38 hot, is Castro. He's going, y'all did it with a virus? Shit. Y'all took over the world with a virus? Y'all gotta be kidding me. He had missiles pointed to the United States of America during the Russian missile crisis, during the Bay of Pigs and what they went on through. So this shit gets deep. The only thing is do you want to realize how deep it is?
I tried to point this out all last year, but if you look at Karl Marx's Communist Manifesto, they're pretty much doing every single principle. Abolish the family, now making its way to liberal media. Abolition of property and land and application of all rents of land to public purposes. Which, by the way, how they're abolishing rent right now, it's just going to screw over landowners, and the wealthy billionaire corporate class are just going to swoop in and make a fortune off of all the foreclosures and bankruptcies that are inevitable, a landowner. A heavy progressive or graduated income tax, Bernie Sanders and Biden favorite. Abolition of all right of inheritance, a progressive dream. Confiscation of the property of all immigrants and rebels, very similar to how they can confiscate your property, business, or run it into the ground if you don't follow their psychotic laws, in which big box stores like Amazon and Costco seem to have a different set of rules. Centralization of credit in the hands of the state by a national bank, we already have that. Centralization of the means of communication and transport in the hand of the state, they're working on that. Total control over transportation and communication. People were brainwashed by leftists to think that communist is this workers' movement that just really empowers the middle class, but in reality, it wipes out the middle and lower class and creates an entire peasant and slave class because obviously, what do you think happens when you centralize all power, money, transportation, and communication into the hands of Big Brother government? It's been a trap. It always was a trap. If you actually read the Communist Manifesto, it's pretty easy to figure out. Pitbull goes even further and talks about Event 201. Take a listen.
You know, that's the way I look at this shit. And even going into this, I don't know if y'all know about this, but might as well put it out there, especially in y'all show, because y'all got folks that need this more than anybody. We all need it. There's a rehearsal that went on before this whole shit. Is called Event 201. October 18th, 2019, this shit came out. It was ran by the Johns Hopkins University, which is in cahoots with Bill Gates, Melinda Gates Foundation. And this was a complete rehearsal of what we did right now. You can look at this up. So therefore, you have a segment where it says segment financial, what we gonna do? Segment travel, what we gonna do? Segment, what we gonna do when it comes to online? And it said, if anybody is not a part of the narrative, we're gonna take it off online, which to me smells like communism.
Right.
You feel me? And obviously that's what our families live through, and I'm sure all of our families have similar stories.
He's not lying. He even got the date right. October 18th, 2019 is when Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security, in partnership with the World Economic Forum and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, launched a blueprint for what they would do during a coronavirus pandemic before the coronavirus pandemic that they conveniently had a rollout for. Early on, when the World Health Organization was saying it was a 3.4 death rate, which I knew was wrong, which it was wrong, was always a lie. They were wrong. Their whole psychotic lockdown was an overreaction, but it's only an overreaction if you think they didn't want to do that. It's clear that they did want to do that because they move the goalposts every 2-3 months, and whatever they told you 6-7 months ago, as soon as you get to that destination, they move the goalpost to some sort of new goal that'll take months or years or never to accomplish. I also want to point out before I get back to the video that Johns Hopkins put on Event 201 with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. They're very well trusted in medical research, perhaps one of the best. And in 2016, they put out a study, not me, they did, that medical errors are the third leading cause of death in the United States. They analyzed it and said that 250,000 deaths per year are due to medical errors in the US, surpassing that of respiratory disease at the time. 250,000 deaths. That's what they said. Of course, there's reports that say that those numbers were high, but who am I to question Johns Hopkins, right? If I question them in any other situation, I'm labeled an anti-science conspiracy theorist, but here, when it's not convenient to the narrative, I'm sure that they have 99 different stories of how it's not true. I'm just pointing out, if you feel a little bit suspicious on the fact that you can't visit your dying family member, or in some cases, any family members in the hospital, knowing that hospital deaths kill tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people per year, is it tyrannical? Of course. Should it be legal? I don't think so. I think it's insane what they're doing on every single level, bankrupting restaurants, destroying entire industries, treating everybody like prisoners, slaves, and animals, while they tell you that this is good for your health, closing down gyms, clearly negatively affecting your mental health, in most cases, clearly negative affecting people's physical health. They're helping you? Obviously not. I know it, Pitbull knows it, tens of millions of people know it. Let's go back to the video.
After all of that, happens to be about a month later, all the main CEOs in the world, partner, major companies, resign. About 1,000 and some change. So that means they pull out high. That means they take the ride high. And then they buy low. Well, everything went whoom. God knows what they did or they didn't do. But I'm talking about Disney, Hulu, Microsoft, Nike, Wells Fargo, Boeing, you name it. You look at them. And this is the part that I got to talk to the world about, is that's the tail wagging the dog, partner. Well, y'all worried about followers and likes and who's on TikTok and Instagram.
He nailed that part too. In 2019, before the pandemic, you had a record number of CEOs stepping down, conveniently right before the stock market crashed and most businesses became miserable to manage because they can't even function or operate. But they think you're stupid, or they don't care if you are or aren't. They'll pressure you, censor you, try to destroy your career, try to ruin your finances, perhaps even try to scare you with other communist-style tactics, just for having a perspective that this seems a lot more about consolidating power, treating people like animals and slaves, as we're already getting essentially replaced with artificial intelligence. People like Elon Musk have his plans of Neuralink. And if you watch an NBA halftime show now, you might be watching a game where nobody's in the stands. Perhaps they might have artificial intelligence fans, fake fans and Zoom accounts with a television screen. But the halftime show in some cases is sponsored by Oculus Rift, a virtual reality company. Isn't that interesting? As we're being replaced, as reality is being replaced with computers, robots, and AI, we're being treated like dogs, horses, animals, slaves, peasants, serfs. And if you're smart enough to realize it and even question it with real data, science, and facts, they have every trick under the sun to sweep it under the rug, because at the high levels, they know exactly what they're doing. You think billionaires and people who've conquered entire countries, started wars in the Middle East, you think that they don't know that there's an advantage when you're able to shut down all of your competition and essentially make it illegal for them to operate, as you're operating at full capacity, just swallowing up businesses, swallowing up buildings, swallowing up money, swallowing up service, when certain countries are completely open and their economies going upwards while most of the world economies are going downwards? You think that world leaders don't know about this and aren't taking advantage of it? You'd have to be a total idiot to think that, which is what they want you to be, which is what they're making people be with the education system, the media system, and even social media manipulation. They want you to think the obvious truth is a dangerous lie, and the obvious complacent lie is just so trustworthy and so scientific. Give me a break. Thank you so much, Pitbull. We appreciate you. You have a lot of money and a lot of power in the music industry, and this is perhaps one of the greatest gifts you've given to humanity at crunch time when we've really needed it. So thank you so much, Pitbull. You're forever a legend, 20 times higher than I ever thought of you in my book, and I'm sure millions of people will feel the same. Thanks for watching my videos. Thank you to everybody supporting on patreon.com/raretalk. Without that, I wouldn't be here. That's a rock. Same with Facebook supporters. Same with everything. You want to keep up with my newest videos, Telegram chat, t.me/dreamrarechat. Thanks for signing up. Have a good day, and I'll be back soon. I'm way too jacked for the gulag. I ain't getting caught like it was a game of school tag. AOC wanna put me onto the food stamps, but I don't want government to make the move. Yeah, I can't decide if I want a blind or a brunette. Pandemic flow like it's coming out of Wuhan. I just praise Christ, stay away you humans. But if you want beef, I'm serving up the Hunan. Hey, I'm way too fast for the gulag. I don't trust y'all like I don't trust the moon man. Is he talking MTV or La Luna? The more they show, it's looking like a Truman. Get what I'm saying? Everything is zoomed in, left, right, trapped. They set it up like a crewman. I be too good at rapping not to do this. Got 600 million views without the music. Hey, the First Amendment, that's for my mouth. The Second Amendment, that's for my house. I get why you wanna take both, but I ain't going out without a doubt. I ain't going out without a shout.